What's up, everybody? It's the Alex Leak and Friends NFL podcast, back for another week. I'm your host, Alex Leak. We got Bret on the show. What's up, Bret?
Hey man, how's it going? Glad to be back.
Yeah, going good. Good to have you back on. This is the 2020 Green Bay Packers season preview. Let's get into it. Last year, the Packers go 13-3 and win the NFC North after 2 years of missing the playoffs in a row. New rookie head coach Matt LaFleur leads Green Bay back to the playoffs and one win away from the Super Bowl, losing to the 49ers in the NFC Championship game 37-20. Running back Aaron Jones ties for the league in rushing touchdowns with 16. So a pretty good bounce back year for Green Bay. I was getting pretty comfortable with them missing the playoffs a couple years in a row. Very unlike them with Aaron Rodgers' era. What did you think of Green Bay last year? Really bouncing back and having a pretty good year at 13-3.
I got a lot of things I can say about that. I'll start with the fact that they finished games at times with the help of others, but in some, but for the most part, they finished. The game. They played the fourth quarter like it's some teams. Only play 3.5 quarters mentally.
Yeah.
And they were able to overcome that in situations. It's at the end of the fourth. Everybody's tired. So even though I feel like their record didn't necessarily reflect how good they their strengths, I should say. Because they're, like I said, there's
maybe they're more like an 11-5, 10-16.
Right, and
yeah.
A couple hands to the face will tell you that, but it's the Packers missing. I agree. It would have been nice to see them miss again. They obviously within the division, we're tired of each other for whatever reason, and Packers, on the way to going to the Super Bowl. So
it's hard to keep a team out of the playoffs consistently when you got a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
And then on top of that, Aaron Jones had a career year last year. I mean, one of my worst takes all time was saying that Jamal Williams was a better running back than Aaron Jones. I'll admit it. He killed it last year. What was your thoughts? I mean, I wasn't high on Aaron Jones going into last year, but he had a really good year.
Yeah. I don't think it was expected by many. Not that, maybe besides himself.
Yeah.
Teammates, but not to say that nobody thought that he was going to be any good, but to have the year like that helps tremendously, as you can see.
Yeah.
A run game really can pick up your team and make you a whole different look for defenses that don't that don't necessarily have to be concerned with that part of your offense. So
that was a crazy thing. Like, you got Aaron Rodgers and you expect the offense to be pretty good, but we didn't expect the defense to be like that. Or not the defense, the running game to be like that. You add a running game like that to Aaron Rodgers, and it really opens up his game.
Yeah. That must be nice to be able to have that.
Well, you guys got Kerryon Johnson. He's got to stay healthy, but, I mean, he's a pretty good running back.
Yeah, we'll be hopefully now we got the duels back there, so we'll see if they can do something with it. But yeah, the Packers offensively, it definitely helps when you're getting older and you can just turn around and hand the ball off several times to somebody that is gonna put you in position to be efficient all the way down the field.
Yeah, and a lesser talked about draft pick for the Packers this year is rookie running back A.J. Dillon out of Boston College. So now the Packers are going for the two running back system as well with Dillon and Aaron Jones. So you're starting to see, the Bears with Montgomery Cohen, the Vikings with Dalvin Cook, Alexander Madison, you guys with Swift and Kerryon. Now the Packers with Dillon and Aaron Jones. You're starting to see a trend of the two-back system. that, starting to be pretty successful. Now, what a big part of the Packers' success last year as well, you don't usually see defenses make a big turnaround just in free agency. But the Smith brothers, Preston and Zadarius, come in and have a lot of success right off the bat, shutting the Bears offense down week one and kind of carrying that throughout the year. Both Smith brothers record over double-digit sacks. That was a pretty impressive job by both those linebackers last year.
Yeah, the things that fans don't put into perspective is how nice it must be for things to just fall into place like that. Sorry, Bears.
You sound better about this.
But I was just,
no, I understand though.
Again, it must be nice, but they stepped up and they played well. It's not only hard to go up and have to defend Aaron Rodgers and try and stop him all game, but then keep up defensively. And for them, to have the defense that they had, then on top of that, it just throws a whole bunch of loops. And so saying, the 13-3 record isn't like a reflection of that. I mean, maybe just because of the fact that they did have other aspects of, their game that we talked about that, other participants in the division haven't necessarily had. So the success is there with it. It's very evident that those things help. And, we'll see if anything comes about. Why all of a sudden that change from last season occurred during the draft and causing all that controversy now with Green Bay.
Well, I mean, so I look at it like this. It's easy for fans like me and you to be like, it's nice for that to happen. But I look at it from this point, you got to be smart management and smart coaching to hit on those free agent signings. All 32 teams have the ability to go sign hits in free agency and show impact on the field and really help their team the next year. But you have to hit on those signings, and you have to hit on draft picks. The Bears have been trying to hit on a quarterback draft pick or a quarterback in free agency in their entire franchise history. And yet, in my lifetime, we've seen them go from Bret Favre to Aaron Rodgers, back-to-back Hall of Fame quarterbacks. This is why Green Bay has had so much success recently. And hitting on the Smith brothers in free agency last year. That's why they had success last year. So the big controversy is in this year's draft of trading up and taking Jordan Love. I'll tell you right now, if the Packers hit on Jordan Love and he's another Hall of Fame quarterback, I'm going to lose my mind as a Bears fan because I am sick and tired of seeing Hall of Fame quarterbacks in Green Bay and them kicking our ass for the last, my entire fan, history. So
yeah,
I'm hoping this Jordan Love one doesn't work out. It looks crazy, and the Packers are in chaos right now. But if they hit again, it's going to be hell for both of us, both of our fan bases, for another 20 years. So I'm hoping that, it looks a little bit like crazy right now. And, they signed Jimmy Graham, and he really didn't do much for them the last, year or two. But they still made it to the NFC Championship game last year. I mean, I'm sick of it, and I'm sure you are too.
Yeah, I mean, I know they definitely get a little help.
They do, and it seemed with Aaron Rodgers, like these new quarterback rules, like driving into the ground or hitting the face mask or anything like that, they seem to always benefit Aaron Rodgers and the Packers when they need it most.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's frustrating.
It happened when it didn't happen, when they needed it to happen the most.
Exactly. Like I remember Packers-Panthers last year when Gerald McCoy hit Aaron Rodgers, a good, clean hit in the end zone, and they throw a flag and say he drove him into the ground. So convenient to make that flag there. It's so convenient to call those back-to-back hands to the face in that Monday night game against Detroit.
Trey
And
Flowers, first and second ever time called for back.
neither were legit. So the Packer fans are gonna be like, "Oh, well, you guys hate, because we get the calls." I mean, it goes both ways. We hate that you get the calls in those moments. So
Right, like you don't come on 6 years in the league and he gets his first and second hands to the face calls ever.
in the clutch with the game on the line, but
Packers fans, you're not blind. You're
yeah,
naive.
but they are talented and they do win. You're not going to go to the NFC Championship just based on 2 calls. So they do other things that are well. My biggest thing is what gave me excitement in this year's draft, right? We're in the middle of a pandemic, nothing's going on. We got the draft, thank God it's some sports, right? And the entire draft, the first round's going through, and there's not a lot of chaos. There's nothing too out of the ordinary. Here come the Packers, though. Trade up and then take quarterback Jordan Love in the first round. To you, what does that signify? Does that mean, most franchises in football, you trade up in the first round and take a quarterback? That means that's your next quarterback for the next. They're planning on that being their franchise guy. Is Aaron Rodgers on his way out of Green Bay, and how soon?
I mean, you don't trade up like that to play him in 2 years. So
or to be a backup. That's your guy.
Yeah, like it may be a year, but you still, even if it is a year before he comes in, you've still created that just, I don't know, that stigma that's just there, because now it's going to be awkward for whatever, whether we know what is going on behind the scenes or not. And that could, that's a huge factor. It could play a huge role with their, how their season plays out, because, the charisma, the what you have with your team, it's not going to be consistent. So you want to have that consistent motion with your team, being able to connect on every level, and now that's been cut in some way. So
yeah, it's interesting to me where Green Bay is headed right now, because it's not just me, the Bears fan, the skeptic, the hater, whatever. It's not just you, the Lions fan. Even Packer fans are questioning what their management is doing right now. They don't really understand it. They were in the NFC Championship game last year. The last 2 years, they needed a receiver in the draft. They needed some more weapons for Rodgers. The one thing they didn't seem to need was running back. And they take a running back in the second round. The one thing they didn't need in the first round was a quarterback, and they trade up to take him. So they're in a little bit of a transition mode here. I do expect, the question is this going to feed Rodgers to come out here in 2020 and be like, you guys don't want me, and a chip on his shoulder, and have an MVP type season and lead this team to the Super Bowl? Or is it going to be in his mind, and is he going to struggle? Is he going to be quicker to throw balls away and be like, I hate this offense, I'm over it, and not try as hard and want to get out of town at the end of the year? Who knows what's going to happen? So as rival fans, we're not hating the situation that Green Bay is in right now. It's kind of interesting.
Let it, whatever, manifest from the inside. I don't care.
Yeah, they're doing it to themselves. So we'll see what happens. I just hope that it's not a home run pick and doesn't come back to bite us. Now, they did add linebacker Christian Kirksey, adding to an already pretty good linebacking room in Green Bay. And then tackle Rick Wagner away from Detroit. They did bring in wide receiver Devin Funchess for some help, but now Funchess has opted out of the 2020 season. So that's a big loss, on top of losing Geronimo Allison to Detroit. They also lost Blake Martinez, linebackers Blake Martinez, Kyler Fackrell, B.J. Goodson, tight end Jimmy Graham, and tackle Brian Bulaga. What's your take? Do you see Green Bay being, winning the division again, or do you think the division's wide open in 2020?
I mean, I think it's as wide open now, I guess you could say, as it's ever been because of that and the Vikings defense and the questions with the Lions.
Yeah, every team has got their questions now. Yeah.
So yeah, like you said, I don't know, Aaron Rodgers. You when you think of him, you think of him as a player and athlete that's not gonna let something stand in his way. But this is something that most athletes don't or shouldn't have to go through.
Yeah.
Feel like you've done so much, and now like all of a sudden, you trade up for this. Like that's and I don't know if it was spoken about, but I don't feel like that's a conversation that typically is easily, had or handled prior to.
It's just, to me, it shows complete lack of respect for Aaron Rodgers. Like, you were just in the NFC Championship game, and they don't add receivers. I mean, the last two mock drafts for me, I had DK Metcalf going in the first round to Green Bay, and I had T. Higgins. Imagine if they had both those guys right now. Rodgers would be pretty damn happy. But they don't. And then they kind of slap him in the face by drafting a quarterback, not taking a receiver anywhere in the deepest receiver draft of all time.
Right.
So it's definitely gotta raise some eyebrows with Aaron Rodgers and have them, questioning some things about where this team is headed. I mean, from what I've seen, there's been a lot of stories written about how Brian Gutekunst, the GM, and Matt LaFleur, the head coach, there's been talks like they would trade Aaron Rodgers right now if they could. They're over it. They're over his passive-aggressive shtick or attitude. They're over him, and they want a quarterback in there that's their guy. And that happens when you have management and regime changes. And it's just crazy. I didn't think Green Bay would be in this situation ever with Aaron Rodgers.
No, but I mean that just goes to show you how much of a business things are.
Yeah, business and politics and what all goes into the NFL. So we'll see. My prediction right now is Aaron Rodgers plays 2020 in Green Bay, and that's it. He's going to want out at the end of the year, and he doesn't want to waste his time being somewhere where he's not wanted. He's going to want to go somewhere where he can contend right away and be appreciated.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So, I mean, players to watch. Rookie A.J. Dillon, see how good he is. The continued development in the secondary with Jair Alexander, safety Darnell Savage. Both the Smith brothers, are they going to be as dominant in 2020? Both leading the team in double-digit sacks. So that's going to be pretty interesting. They had a great year, a solid year on defense, but are they that good of a defense? There's questions on there.
Yeah, I mean, I think the offense helped a little bit with that too.
Being able to run the ball and all that.
But now that you could have just disrupted that entire thing now with moving up in the draft like you did. So
yeah, let's see here. I mean, so going back to Jordan Love, the year they trade up to draft him in 2019 in college for Jordan Love, he led the NCAA in interceptions thrown and was ranked 80th nationally in passer rating. Just food for thought there.
Well, I mean, we'll see if it comes back to bite him.
Trying to compare him to Patrick Mahomes and shit. He better not be Patrick Mahomes. That's all I gotta say.
I mean.
So looking at the Packers, what's your prediction for their record and what's their win range in 2020? Do you think they win the division again, or is it they're gonna get dethroned this year?
I don't see with the scenario and the situation that occurred them coming out and instantly showing that they're not that they're not the favorites, prior to the season, but it's going to be hard to believe that they'll go out there immediately and show that like they did last year, because now, like I said, it's going to be very different and things the
environment, building, chemistry, all that. Yeah.
So we'll see if they're able to get past it. Hopefully not.
Interesting part we saw Mike McCarthy and Rodgers have some pretty public disputes on the sideline and back and forth. I can't wait to see what Rodgers and LaFleur turns into.
Hey, I mean, you know what? It is what it is. If they can't figure it out off the field and they bring it on there, then they'll let it be known. They definitely didn't mind letting it be known nationally.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very evident that there was issues prior, and now it's even more so.
Yep, he doesn't seem too afraid to let his thoughts be known. So far, he's handled it pretty professionally. We'll see if that carries over to the 2020 season once we start getting the games going. So what's your win-loss prediction and win range?
I would say, it's still the Packers, so it's not hard to say that they would be double digits win-wise, 10-6.
Mm-hmm.
What occurring, what we said with all of this, it's I feel like this is the time where the Packers fall, and where somebody else takes a stand.
Yeah.
So it's 8 to 10 wins, maybe.
Yep, that's what I got. 8 to 11 win range. 9-7 is my actual prediction. And so we'll see. Guaranteed. I mean, I don't see how the Packers get through this season without some pretty major internal drama. So
yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah. But so I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. If we're overblowing the Rodgers LaFleur drama, the Jordan Love pick, let us know. But we'll disagree with you in the comments as well. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to subscribe, all that good shit. Thanks for coming on, Bret.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Have a great week, guys, and peace out.